Today I'm trying my best to simulate the natural habitat of a pea puffer. Now you may be wondering why I'm outside. Well, today I'm at my local pond and I'm going to be collecting some mud and plants to simulate the natural habitat of a pea puffer.
So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to get some of the mud from the pond, anywhere between 2 to 6 inches of mud. If you do this yourself, do not put the mud back into the pond, because you may introduce things that harm the ecosystem.
Now that I have everything, let's put it in.
I quickly regretted my decision of pouring the mud into this aquarium, as it splashed all over everything. Right here, I am shaping the mud, pushing it towards the back right of the corner so it's higher up, and sloping it down towards the front to create more depth in the aquarium. I had to go back for another bucket because one bucket was not enough. We're on our second day for this project. Today I'm hoping to get everything leveled out, escaped, and filled up. After draining the water so I don't create a mess, I am picking out all of the rocks and sticks I can find. Now, I can take this shovel and shape it back some. Since I let it sit overnight, it's thicker and easier to work with now. Probably go a little bit thicker there, but that's about the thickness that I want. I want it to drop down deeper in this area over here. Now that I pushed everything back and created more depth right there in the front and over here towards this side, I'm going to place everything I said here does not matter, because this piece of wood I used in this clip is not the one that I am going to be using in the aquarium, as you can see here. The reason I went with this piece of wood compared to the other piece of wood is because this one carries the flow of the aquarium more. Since it's taller in the back left of the aquarium and the branch is stretching out towards the far right of the aquarium, it acts as if the water is flowing with the branch. Now I'm just doing some final touch-ups to the aquarium, like adding the airline, cleaning off glass, and adding accent rocks, which will help with detail. In the wild, pea puffers live with coarse sand and rocky substrate, so I think that this mud and rock accent will be a perfect alternative to mimic their natural habitat in this aquascape. When setting up a new aquarium, you can use a cup with holes in it or paper towels to disrupt the water flow and slow it down so that it does not disturb any of the substrate within the aquarium. I let the aquarium sit for a few days before adding plants and living animals. If you are squeamish about maggots or bugs, look away. I found tons of leeches and I would pull them out and throw them away. I'm not sure what this is, some sort of water flea I think. This is a caddisfly larva, which turns into this thing right here. A week after the tank was set up, I decided to add some shrimp into the aquarium. After adding the shrimp, I found this. This is a horsefly larva. A few days after that, I found an aquatic worm, and I decided to give it to the guppies as a snack. It was about 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden a clam popped up out of the mud. At about 3 weeks, I went out to the pond and collected some of the plants along the bank. This is some Ludwigia. If I'm not mistaken, this grass here is called Lucula grass. My pond has tons of pondweed growing around it, so I grabbed a bunch of that as well. I didn't film putting the plants into the aquarium because it was easier just to plant them. Some plants I added that I did not collect from the pond was pearlweed, and if I'm not mistaken, it was cryptocorny whaleseal. A few days after adding the plants, I noticed on the leaf here that there was a hydra in the aquarium, and when there's one, there is more, but it is not nothing to worry about. Hydras are natural, and they are in all of our creeks and ecosystems. Hydras are actually a sign of good water quality. A few days passed after I found that hydra, and in an attempt to keep the population under control, I added a few juvenile guppies. I tried to keep all of my aquariums as natural as possible, and that means using no chemicals, so I tried to find natural solutions for everything. I added a few shredded up leaves for cover for the shrimp and more detail. Over the next few months, I kept finding caddisfly larvae pop up every now and then. This was nothing that was too alarming though, as the adult flies did not bite. Quick update on the 20 gallon here. I got a bunch of new growth. As you can see here, I got new leaves here, over here. I got some even back there that have reached all the way to the top of the water. Some of this grass back here has even started to grow. If the guppies would get out of my way, thank you. Even back here, all this Ludwigia and pearlweed that I've stuck back here is growing very nicely. And as you can tell, the snails seem to be loving it as well because they are breeding like crazy. I mean, just look at them all. They've exploded. They are everywhere, and that is exactly what I want for this little guy over here. Now, I will be getting 3 more of them once the tank is complete. It's been about 4 months, going on 5 now, and I finally got the other pea puffers. I decided a month prior to add the first pea puffer I got so that it wasn't stressed out. I added the pea puffers in, and they immediately started to scavenge for the snails that I had in there prior. As expected, they were kind of skittish to explore their new habitat, so they stayed in a tight group. This video was taken about a week after I got them, and as you can see, nice plump round stomachs and happy as can be. They are very curious and love to observe the shrimp. They are constantly scouting for food with their big eyes. As I cut Anubias from my other aquariums, I would stuff it in between the branches. The shrimp started to breed, which would add yet another food source to the aquarium. The all-natural pea puffer aquascape was a success. There were many ups and downs, and it was a great journey. I have learned many new things, and I feel like I have experienced more of how the pea puffer behaves in its natural habitat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get updates on my next video. If you guys liked this one, please let me know down in the comments below if you all would like a 1-year update on the aquarium. This was my journey on the pea puffer aquascape. I hope you all enjoyed and could learn something from this video. If you want to see more of the pea puffers, I have an Instagram and a TikTok at thatfishguy101.